In the dark mountains of Romania, hidden far away from civilization, there stands an ancient abbey surrounded by fear, death, and evil. The people nearby whisper terrifying stories about a demon dressed like a nun. Many believe the place is cursed, while others say Satan himself lives there. But nobody dares to enter. This is the terrifying story of the nun. The horror begins when a young nun suddenly takes her own life inside the abbey. The church becomes worried because strange supernatural events are happening there. To investigate the mystery, the Vatican sends Father Burke, a priest with a haunted past, and Sister Irene, a young nun who experiences strange visions. Neither of them knows they are about to face the most terrifying evil of their lives: the suicide mystery. Inside the old abbey, darkness covers every wall. One night, a terrified nun runs through the hallway carrying a mysterious key. Behind her, an evil force chases her through the shadows. Realizing she cannot escape, the nun hangs herself outside the abbey window. The next morning, a local villager named Frenchie discovers her body hanging from the building. Fear spreads quickly through the nearby village. Everyone believes evil has awakened again. The Vatican immediately becomes involved because a nun taking her own life is considered a terrible sin. Something unnatural must be happening inside the abbey. Father Burke and Sister Irene are sent to investigate. Father Burke's dark past. Father Burke is not an ordinary priest. Years ago, he failed to save a possessed boy during an exorcism. The child died, and Burke has blamed himself ever since. Even today, he sees terrifying visions of the dead boy. The Vatican believes Burke is experienced enough to face evil again. But deep inside, Burke fears that darkness still follows him. Sister Irene is very different. She is young, innocent, and not yet a full nun. However, she has experienced strange visions since childhood. The church believes she may have a special connection with God. Together, they travel to Romania. Arrival in Romania. As they arrive in the cold village near the abbey, they immediately notice something strange. The villagers refuse to speak about the place. Everyone is terrified. Frenchie becomes their guide because he was the one who discovered the dead nun. He tells them the abbey has always been feared by locals. Strange sounds echo through the mountains every night. People disappear near the abbey. Animals refuse to go close to it. And everyone believes evil lives there. Despite the warnings, Burke and Irene continue toward the abbey. Entering the abbey looks ancient and dead. Massive stone walls rise into the dark sky while fog covers the ground. As Burke and Irene enter, they meet several nuns praying silently. The atmosphere feels strange. The nuns barely speak. Their faces are pale and emotionless. One nun explains that they pray day and night to keep evil trapped inside the abbey. This shocks Burke. What kind of evil requires constant prayer to stop it? At night, terrifying sounds echo through the hallways. Irene begins hearing whispers in the darkness. Something evil is watching them. The first demonic signs. Burke investigates the abbey cemetery and discovers horrifying graves. Suddenly, a demon attacks him and traps him alive inside a coffin underground. Burke struggles to breathe as dirt falls onto the coffin. Meanwhile, Irene experiences terrifying visions of a demonic nun staring at her from dark corridors. Frenchie manages to save Burke just in time. But now Burke understands the truth. Something supernatural truly exists here. And it is becoming stronger. The history of the abbey. The group discovers the abbey's horrifying secret. Hundreds of years ago, a duke obsessed with dark magic lived there. He attempted to summon a demon from hell using satanic rituals. The ritual opened a gateway to evil. Before the demon could fully escape, Christian knights sealed the gateway using the blood of Jesus Christ stored in a sacred relic. The abbey later became a holy place where nuns continuously prayed to keep the demon trapped forever. But during World War II, bombing damaged the abbey walls and accidentally reopened the gateway. Now the demon has returned. Its name is Valak. Who is Valak? Valak is one of the most terrifying demons in the Conjuring Universe. It takes the form of a nun to mock Christianity and spread fear. The demon feeds on human weakness, guilt, and terror. It creates hallucinations and manipulates the mind. Nobody knows Valak's true power. But one thing is certain. If the demon escapes the abbey, countless innocent people will die. Night of Horror. As darkness falls again, the abbey becomes more terrifying. Burke sees visions of the dead boy from his failed exorcism. Irene hears voices calling her name. Frenchie is attacked by invisible evil forces. The demon begins separating them one by one. Valak appears everywhere, standing silently in hallways, hiding behind doors, watching from shadows. Every moment becomes more dangerous. The truth about the nuns. Irene eventually discovers a horrifying truth. The nuns they have been speaking to are actually dead. All the real nuns inside the abbey were killed long ago. The prayers they heard were only spiritual echoes meant to hold back the demon for as long as possible. This means Burke, Irene, and Frenchie are completely alone. Valak controls the entire abbey now. The final battle. Burke and Irene discover the sacred relic containing the blood of Christ. They realize this is the only weapon powerful enough to seal the gateway forever. But Valak attacks violently. The demon throws Burke across the room and nearly kills Frenchie. Irene courageously confronts Valak directly. In a terrifying moment, Valak grabs Irene and attempts to possess her soul. But Irene uses the blood of Christ and spits it directly onto the demon. Valak screams in pain as holy power burns its body. The gateway to hell finally closes. The abbey becomes silent once again. The evil appears defeated. The shocking ending. Burke, Irene, and Frenchie escape safely. The church declares the mission successful. But the horror is not over. Unknown to everyone, Valak secretly marked Frenchie during the battle. Years later, Frenchie begins suffering possession symptoms. His real name is Maurice. And eventually, the demon fully possesses him. This connects directly to the Conjuring Universe, because Maurice later becomes involved in another terrifying exorcism investigated by Ed and Lorraine Warren. Meaning,